So, I've been spending some time here in Merida, Mexico, and honestly, this city blew me away. It's colorful, historic, and has that mix of old school charm and slow, relaxed living. So, if you're planning your trip to Mexico, then I would highly recommend you to visit this beautiful city, which is also known as the safest city here in Mexico. And in this video, I'm going to share everything that you need to know if you're planning to come to Merida. I know Mexico has a good amount of different destinations or cities that you can explore, and Merida is definitely one of them. It is the capital of the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's known for its colonial charm mixed with Mayan heritage, the pastel color streets, old mansion, and local markets where you still can feel the traditional Yucatan vibe. And this city also has a growing expat community, I think mainly because of the relaxed vibe and also Merida being the safest city in Mexico. So to get to Merida, you can easily fly to the international airport. It's about 15 minutes away from downtown. I personally flew here from Mexico City and it took around an hour and 45 minutes. And if you're coming from Cancun by bus, you can take the 80 bus and it takes around 4 hours. Now let's talk about the best time to visit Merida. I actually got here around the beginning of October, and around that time it was surprisingly very hot. So I would say the first half of the day it's kind of hard to explore because it was very humid and the temperature was very high. But by the end of October and the beginning of November, the weather got super pleasant. It is sunny, it's not too hot, and it's also very breezy at night. So if you're planning to visit Merida, I would highly recommend to come by the end of October until March. If you come by the end of October or early November, you also get to experience Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead, which is a big celebration here in Mexico in general. They also perform a traditional Mayan sport called Pok, which is also really fun to watch. Now, in terms of where to stay, in my opinion, the best area to stay in Merida is either near Plaza Grande or around Paseo de Montejo. If you stay in Plaza Grande, you're technically right in the middle of the city. Lots of energy, lots of things going on. So in Plaza Grande, every single night they kind of have like a show or performance from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. and it's also very easy to walk around. Paseo de Montejo is just around 10 minutes walk from Plaza Grande and it has more upscale elegant vibe. You'll see a lot of colonial old mansions here, and compared to Plaza Grande it is slightly more quiet. Honestly, both are great, it just depends on like what type of vibe you're looking for. To get around Merida, you can either take the bus, walk around. The city is very walkable, which I love. You can also use Uber or Didi, which is a very common transportation apps here. Or you can also bike around. So all around the city, they have this like bike that you can scan and you can use, and you just pay depending on how long you're riding the bike. Every Sunday in Paseo de Montejo, they also have bicicruta, which is when they close the main street and people can just like bike around. So it is a very chill and also nice ambience. And if you stay here longer or planning to visit something that is a little bit further out from the city, renting a car is definitely the best way to go. I took a couple day trip to visit the cenotes and also to go to Celestun to see the flamingo. So I rented a car from a local company called Yucatan Vacation Rentals. So far, I've had a really great experience with them. Their service is top notch. Also, when I was comparing the price to other rental company, they do have the best deals. So if you guys want to rent a car, I would leave their information down below. Now let's talk about the best thing here to do in Merida. If you're wondering what to do in this beautiful city, here are some of my favorite things that I've experienced so far. The first one is definitely exploring Plaza Grande. This is the heart of the city and honestly one of my favorite spots. There's always something happening, from street performance to live music. Every evening they also have a different type of performance. I will drop the schedule here so you guys can check it out. But I feel like that is the best way to experience the local vibe. You can also walk around Paseo de Montejo. I would say you can scroll around here, especially later on during the day. You'll see tons of shops starting to open around that time, selling marquesitas, which is like a very typical street food here in Merida. It is basically like a waffle and with a lot of cheese, and you can put toppings like chocolate or banana or anything that you can think of. And you definitely want to take a day trip to cenotes. There's a lot of different cenotes that you can explore that is pretty close from Merida, usually around like 40 minutes to an hour away. The water is crystal clear. It is definitely very refreshing, especially if you go during the middle of the day. I actually visited a couple different cenotes, but my favorite one is the Hacienda Mochuiche, and it has two different cenotes with a completely different vibe. With the first one, you kind of have to swim in the canal, which is pretty fun, and then the second one, you actually go inside a huge cave. And since Merida is in Yucatan Peninsula, you can also take a day trip to some of the beach locations like Celestun or Progreso. If you come to Merida during December or early months of the year, you definitely want to head to Celestun to see the flamingo. I actually took a 2 hour tour and it was very relaxing. Basically, you get on a boat and they take you around to see the flamingos. We even got to see some dolphins and you go to see the mangrove. And the tour itself costs 400 pesos per person. Both Celestun and Progreso are an easy day trip that you can take from Merida. Both are very relaxing, so I highly recommend. Next one is definitely to try the Yucatecan food. So it is slightly different from a regular Mexican food. Here, a lot of this are like slow roasted meat like cochinita pibil, salbutes, panuchos, and sopa de lima. Last but not least is definitely to visit Chichen Itza, which is also one of the 7 wonders of the world. So I actually booked a tour with Get Your Guide to visit Chichen Itza since it's a couple hours away from the city, and I would highly recommend to get on a tour instead of just going by yourself, because when you go to those historical places, having a guide that understands everything and able to explain about the culture, the history, definitely makes the experience a lot better. So our guide was very experienced and knowledgeable. I'm very glad that I didn't just go there to see the pyramid, but I got to learn about the Mayan culture as well. Also, what's really fun that's included in the tour was they took us to cenotes, but it's different from all of the other cenotes that I've been before. This cenotes is actually a private property, so it's literally in someone's backyard, which I think was really cool. And after that, this is when I got to try the traditional Mayan cuisine, because the family that lived there were actually cooking all of this cuisine. So you can just pay them at the property, and it's also a great way to support some local businesses. Honestly, I would say that was one of the best guided tour that I've taken so far, because you don't feel like you're being pushed to buy things, but instead you got to experience things that you wouldn't be able to experience if you go by yourself, like finding that private cenotes or having a traditional Mayan food with the family. But if you guys want to book the exact same tour, then I will leave the link in the description down below. I will also leave a discount code that you guys can use if you want to book any tour with Get Your Guide. Now, to answer the most common question that I've seen people have: is Merida really safe? I know this is a big question, especially when you're planning to travel to Mexico. And honestly, it depends on where you're going and what you're doing. For me, I never really go out after dark. I don't really drink, and I didn't head to the bars. So my experience is a bit more of a daytime traveler. And based on my experience, I do feel super safe here in Merida. The local here are super friendly and they often want to chat about the Mayan cultures. But overall, especially compared to Mexico City, I do think Merida is generally more safe. I couldn't recommend this place enough. I feel like it's one of the best city if you want to learn more about the Mexican culture. And yeah, let me know if you guys have been to Merida before, or if you have ever heard about Merida and planning a trip here. If you have any further question, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!